Amanda, the Pay It Forward Mom. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a couple of weeks. I'm happy to have you guys. I wanted to tell you guys about a project that I did with my daughter's class on kindness. And we've had a couple instances over the last couple of weeks that made me think maybe we could all use a little reminder of how important it is to be nice to each other. It sounds so easy, and it is easy. I know that you put out more energy and it's more exhausting being unkind than it is to just be nice. So let's talk about, a couple weeks ago, my daughter, they do this Fun Friday, and usually parents come in and do some sort of craft or activity with the class, and I was trying to think outside the box a little bit. It was the first Fun Friday of the school year, and something we could do that would really last longer than that one little, hour period they think about, later in life. I remember my aunt doing this with me when I was a very little girl. So at the time, I had never had a kiwi. I was really young to remember this. Every time I bring it up, she's like, really? Did we do that? But it stuck with me, obviously, for so long. So she brought out all these beautiful, colorful fruits and then a kiwi. And she asked me to tell her what I thought or felt about the fruits and how, I fell right in. And by the time, the kids are in second grade. So by this time, most of them have had a kiwi, and I think they could kind of tell where this was going. But one little girl totally bit, and she's like, I think those would taste better in regards to, the beautiful fruits. And I'd rather eat those. What we did was we cut open the kiwi, and obviously the inside of a kiwi is gorgeous. And we talked about how you don't judge a book or a person by its cover, and how what's most important is on the inside. So I think that went really well, and it's super cool. The first time I did it with my kids, they were like 2, and they loved it. So a super easy activity you can do at home to teach a really valuable life lesson that you can reference, for years to come. The next thing we did, and if you're from Richmond, you may remember a woman who did this project, Gorilla Goodness, and she was the kindness girl. She was featured on all sorts of local television shows. I've seen her speak a couple of times, and I just love, love, love her. She's a birth photographer now. Her name is Patience Salgado. So one of the projects that she did many, many moons ago that I've always loved is the Post-it project. And her kids, who were young at the time, would write nice things on Post-its, like, you're doing a great job, you're beautiful, keep up the good work. And then some of them would be really funny, like, you can survive your in-laws. I don't remember if she did that one or if someone posted it to her page, but people had a lot of fun with it. And you'd go around grocery stores and leaving them on cans or in a parking lot of a car. And ironically, just a couple years ago, I got this little note on my car, and it was, I forget what it said, but it was something so kind. And it was a little rose, and I looked around the parking lot, and it was like every 5th car or whatever had one. So it was just something really nice, and it made me feel great. I'm sure it made everyone else feel great, that you can do. So I passed out Post-its to all of the children. We wrote things on the board that would be great examples of things that you'd like to hear, or you would like to tell a friend to make them feel good. And then the kids either picked their own or chose an example from the board and wrote it on their Post-it. So we lined up, and it was I was so thankful for my kids' teacher for not totally freaking out on me, because I guess they didn't have to wear their uniforms that day. It was like a Friday. Everyone was wild anyway. They were ready to go for the week, and they got a little rambunctious in the hallway, but all is well. It went well overall. We went up and down the hall, and the kids put them somewhere. One little girl in particular, I was so proud of her, and I'm going to post this picture if it's okay with her mom. She wanted to put her Post-it on the mop bucket of the janitor, and we went right down to the cafeteria, and she did it. And I just thought that was so thoughtful, and the entire point of the project, like right there out the gate. So it was great. A lot of the kids have siblings at the school, so they wanted to go, put things on their siblings' door. It was really, really awesome. Lastly, we took a bucket of chalk and we went outside to where they do dismissal. So the whole school is in this one area, and the parent line is there. We wrote all sorts of really nice things on the sidewalk, and it ended up, I don't know what kind of chalk that was. I feel like it was just Crayola, but it's like still there. Whoops. At least it's really nice. Anyway, one of the little girls told me, I referenced this in my last video, that it was her favorite day of school ever. So I was like, yes, that's a win. And hopefully they will love that project for years to come. It's super important. So a problem that I'm having doing these videos is often when I'd really like to say something, I start to feel guilty because I don't. It's a small world and a small community, and I feel like if I say exact things that have happened, the people are going to know that I'm referring to them, and I don't want to be unkind. You know, it takes a situation and it changes it if, you know, they or the child has done something nasty to my kid, or the moms have done something nasty to me. If I turn around and reference it on a video, I feel like it makes me just as guilty. So it's a little hard when I'm trying to think about content, because there's so many things that I love to share and lessons I've learned in parenting because of it. But I don't want to start a huge dramatic thing. You know what I mean? So it's a little tricky in doing this. I will just say that a little girl said something pretty nasty to one of my kids recently, and it was in front of me, and it was in front of the mother, and nothing happened, and my mind was just blown. Like, there was no conversation, and I love to give people the benefit of the doubt. So maybe there was one later on after they left in private, which is great. I just wish that the kid had apologized to my daughter, because she brings that up quite often, and she didn't know what to say. She just looked very defeated, my daughter did, and she didn't say anything unkind back, which is how I've raised her. An eye for an eye leaves everybody blind. But at the same time, I feel like in my age and my stage in life, I'm really starting to stick up for myself a little bit more. And I kind of wish, not kind of, I am sticking up for myself a lot more. And it feels really good. And I wish I had done that more when I was younger, with tact and class, and, you know, going about it the right way, because flying off the hinges and being a psycho is not the right way. So anyway, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to teach them, because I do believe that you sink down to someone else's level when you behave like them, and she should not have said anything back to her. She should just be kind to her. I've always been taught to kill him with kindness, and it's gotten me pretty far. But at the same time, you can't get taken advantage of, and people have to know that it's not okay to talk to you in that certain way. So if you guys have any parenting tips for me with that would be fantastic. There was a situation pretty recently with that same child where I made it clear to the parent that this was not okay, and it was nipped pretty quickly. I just didn't feel as comfortable doing that. Maybe it's different because the other situation, and I hope I'm not confusing you guys too much, the other situation was a dad, and I feel like I don't know, I was not as hesitant to be like, that wasn't polite to the dad, but to the mom, I don't want to say things like this. And it was two separate families. I'm confusing you guys, I know it. Anyway, if you guys can tell me how to teach my kid to stick up for herself, but not to be a little ass, I'd appreciate it. And another thing amongst the moms, this is very interesting, because recently I said something to a parent about the movie Mean Girls, and she said her daughters are like preteens, and she said, oh no, they've never seen that movie. And I'm thinking, have you seen that movie? Because it's not really about mean girls. It's a lot of life lessons that, you know, I wish that movie had been around when I was in middle school. I mean, of course, there are some sexual references, but no, for the most part, the message is extremely valuable, and it's to not be a mean girl. There's been a couple situations lately where I see moms treating each other terribly or speaking unkindly about each other behind one another's back, and I just feel so mad when I see that, and just perplexed. You know, like, we're grown-ups. We're setting the tone for how our daughters treat one another. And I have opinions. I do. I have opinions about lots of things and sometimes people, but I also have a very small group of friends that I trust with all my heart, and that's where I discuss things that really bother me or situations with names. And sometimes I don't even give names then. But you know, you don't sit in a public place and speak unkindly about other moms, whether you're on the football field, softball field, cheer gym, the dance studio. It's not acceptable. And to me, it doesn't make me think, ooh, let me hear the goods. It makes me think, whoa, staying the heck away from you and anything that you have to do with. Because it's not, it's like the opposite of a situation that I want anything to do with. And I most certainly, you know, if grown women are feeling comfortable enough to speak about one another in front of basically, you know, acquaintances, then how are they speaking about other women in front of their daughters in the privacy of their own home? It's worrying, you know, and I think we need to reel it in, ladies, and treat each other with kindness and respect, and remember that it's okay to have an opinion and not like something that someone else has done. But think about how you're coming across to other people when you feel the need to talk about it in a public setting. And is this helpful? Probably not. And if it's really something that's bothering you, then perhaps you should have a private conversation with that person, work it out and move on, because that's what we want our kids to do, right? If they have a conflict with one another, resolve it, you know, speak to each other kindly, work it out, and move on to the next thing. So I feel like if we want our kids to do that, we have to lead by example, ladies. I'm sure it's a problem amongst the dads too, surely, right? Guys, there's lots I want to talk about. I don't want to make this video too long. I may do another one tomorrow, but last week I started the keto diet and I wanted to do a whole video on that, but I don't have enough, honestly. Even with doing it all last week and this week, I don't really know what to say about it yet. I feel like the first, 3-4 days, I wasn't really doing it right, and then I started doing it better, and now I feel like, I don't know, I'm very confused by it. So just in a nutshell, it's a very high fat, moderate protein, and kind of low calorie diet. It's very hard. It's hard to get all your numbers right, and I'm really struggling with all the fat because I want to lose, not to go into like too many numbers, but I want to do 10 pounds, right? You know, I packed on my summer freshman 15 with all the fun barbecues and cocktails, as I always do. And typically come September, it like falls off right away, but maybe in my age, it's taking a little bit longer. So I felt like it was worth a shot. And it's a little bit more complicated than I had initially expected. So you guys know I was dairy and gluten-free. Very hard to do. And I know there's a Facebook page that I'm now a member of that are all keto, dairy-free people. So you can do it. But pretty much every single recipe in both cookbooks that I have call for some sort of dairy. And if not, I don't know. It's fine. Like, I just decided to add dairy back in. I was nervous. I did it very slowly and literally nothing happened. Nothing. So that's good. But I've got to stop with all the hand talk. It's distracting, right? That was fine, adding the dairy back in. But everything else, my calories need to be like 1,000, right? If you have to eat like 110 grams of fat, how are you staying under that? And I eat a lot of protein, like turkeys and chicken, and boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I don't eat a lot of fat, and I just felt like, I don't know, greasy or something. And then I was always going over my protein. If I was hitting the fat, then I'm going over in my calories. I don't know. I need help. I need help with a lot of things. This video is basically a cry for help. I need to learn how to teach my children to stick up for themselves nicely and how to do keto correctly. I do feel I feel like it's working. I don't weigh myself a lot. I judge how my clothes fit and how I feel. I do feel like it's working, but I don't think I'm doing it right. I would be willing to bet I'm not in ketosis, but totally carb free. I am doing like avocado and stuff. I don't know. I cannot with all the bacon and all that. So guys, help me out. I had a board meeting for the Wellness Center the other day. It's coming along awesome. I want to do a video specific to that as well. So lots of content coming at you over the next week, and I hope you guys are doing well. Look me up on social. I share a lot more of my life there, and all the information will be in the comments. And if you can help, please shoot me a message. I appreciate you guys so much. Come back, thumbs up this video, subscribe. I promise you won't get a ton of emails. I'm not pumping out like videos every day. So yeah, it's just really helpful to me trying to figure out algorithms and such. You guys have a kick-ass day. Bye. Oh, and be nice to each other, especially you moms. Bye.